Hey fellas, how you doing on my roof? 3 in the 9, welcome to the GTA 5 chat show. I've got something slightly different for you today. Not entirely sure how it's going to go, not necessarily about gameplay in any respect really, but it's kind of an interesting thought that crossed my mind. I go a little absent-minded every now and then and sort of I sit in front of the computer screen and just go deep in thought. And I get quite creative with this. It's kind of sometimes how ideas hit, and you know, I used to do it a lot when the news stuff was going on. Before that happened, we came up with a load of ideas about the game. You know, it's just ideas flow. Yeah, and I got deep in thought one day. I was like, what's going to be going on with Nico and Trevor? Yeah, two different characters, two different games, two different stories, completely different places. Very, very strong though, both of them. And I was like, what would happen if you just put them in a battle? And I guess we should lay down some rules here. Is it fist to fist? Yeah, go on, let's do fist to fist to start off with. I reckon if you were to go Nico versus Trevor, toe to toe, right, let's just say they're wearing MMA gloves and... no, boxes is a little bit too gay. Whatever, what they would normally wear plus some gloves, yeah. If they were to fight each other, and I'm talking to the death here, I'm not talking like just first to the knockout, right? So it's the first one to die, yeah. I'm thinking, initially you want to think Trevor, don't you? Because he's really brutal. You see this in GTA 5. He's incredibly, like, just off the wall. Just a split second, sort of very split personality. Like, he just goes for it. He just goes crazy, yeah? And he's no issue with stomping on heads or eating humans or whatever it is Trevor does. You know, he's cuddly like that. He's a little crazy. Nico, on the other hand, can get very, very angry, very, very violent. Kind of very, very quickly, occasionally, depending on what situation he's in. But more often than not, he seems calm. Yeah, he's very chilled, very content, and I don't know if content's the word, but he's very focused. That's the word, focused. He knows, you know, very calculated. If he's going to do something, he's got to do this to do it. Yeah, it's just that's how he plays out. He's a different character to Trevor, a different skill set entirely as well. They've both had military training, which makes it even more interesting. Not so much with a gun, but fist to fist. If you were to put them together, I reckon Trevor would wear himself down very quickly. It would be one of those very explosive, like, you know, he's got the, I can't remember his special ability. It's not rage, is it? He's got that special ability which makes him very angry and a lot more powerful for a short amount of time. That's essentially overexertion. That runs out very, very fast. Whereas Nico, I reckon he would take very strategic punches, yeah, and he'd go to the gut and he'd figure out different parts of the body that are vulnerable. I reckon he would be able to eventually compensate for it, and Trevor would wear himself down. So initial thought, I sort of thought, yeah, Trevor, he's just going to absolutely just jump on Nico and just eat his face. But, you know, I think Nico would win. It's an interesting one. I don't, like I said, I don't know how this is going to go, this little video. It's one of those things where it's like, what do you think? It's open to debate, and I like that. I like debates. It seems a little silly because it's not necessarily anything about the game, but it kind of uses aspects of the characters and stuff, and it gets minds flowing and stuff. And of course, if it goes down well, I might pick a different set of characters at some point, throw in a few different curveballs. If let's say if we had weapons, if we had baseball bats, I reckon Nico would still win. No, actually, at that point, I think Trevor would win. He'd whack Nico across the head, job done. That's how it would roll that way. Weapons, Trevor. Fist to fist, so I reckon it's going to be Nico. Who would you like to see me do next? Would you like me to go across like Ray Bolgerin and somebody else, or, you know, try and pick different games? Tommy Vercetti or something like that. CJ versus Franklin. That might be an interesting one. Either way, but I rule 3 in the 9. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.